Could it be? But me, your man, Louie T. Welcome to the Skill Game, brought to you by Sleeper. We'll get to the Sleeper app here in a bit. We're going to talk about this Sunday Night Football Week 8 matchup. When we first have to start with the uniforms that the Steelers are wearing, these are akin to the throwbacks that we've seen from them before that are hideous. These are even worse. And I didn't think that was possible. These jerseys are so bad. They're terrible in the front. But then if you can stomach the front, the back is a totally different jersey. And I don't know what year this is from. I bet you they thought they were killing the game when these came out back in 1942. Like, oh, those are some nifty threads they have on there. These shits are awful. They're hard on the eyes. We're going to watch them tonight. They're so bad, Green Bay said, hey, we don't want to mix our yellow in with the shit you got going on. We're just going to wear all white, which is untraditional for us on the road. But hey, we don't want to be tied up in your nonsense, and we don't want any confusion with our yellow and your yellow. So that's the first thing. However, when you actually talk about the game itself, a couple of storylines, Aaron Rodgers taking on his former team. There's the Aaron Rodgers, Jordan Love dynamic. Those two were together for 4 years in Green Bay. So there's some storylines there. But when you strip all of that down and you get to the actual bare necessities, which is the game itself, the Steelers are at home. They had a tough loss, an inexcusable loss, really, at on Thursday Night Football to the Cincinnati Bengals. And it has opened up that division for not just the Pittsburgh Steelers, or excuse me, not just the Cincinnati Bengals, but also it's opened up the division for the Baltimore Ravens. I know at 1-5, it seems far-fetched and ridiculous to bring them up, but Lamar Jackson, I think, is going to play this week against Chicago. That's a very winnable football game. All of a sudden, they win that game. They get hot. The Steelers could lose this game. They got another losable game coming up the following week. Cincinnati still without Joe Burrow, so they're still not a consistent team, but they're going to play the Jets this week. They should be able to get that win. We'll see what happens, but they opened up the door. That door was about to be shut. It was slightly ajar. And now that door is officially open. They got a chance to slam it back shut potentially with a win here and another win next week. And I think that next game is a divisional foe. I'm not sure, but this is a big one here. I don't think many people expect the Steelers to get this win at home against Green Bay, especially after the showing we saw from Pittsburgh. One thing I can say about the Steelers, very inconsistent team. I don't love them, right? That their defense isn't as good as it has been in past years. They're not getting to the quarterback like they used to. The secondary stinks. And so the linebackers, they're hit or miss. You know, 1 week they're dynamic, the next week they're invisible. This is a tough Steelers defense to nail down. But this is a Steelers defense that you don't want to fall asleep on. The minute you fall asleep on them, the minute you turn your back on TJ Watt, the minute you turn your back on Highsmith, the minute you turn your back on all of those guys, Herbig and Hayward, that's the minute that they find a way to impact the game, and all of a sudden you've turned it over 2 or 3 times, and they find a way to win a game 20-16. Right? Easily could see that being this type of game. The offense is just as confusing and as big of an enigma as the defense is with Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, and company. 1 week, they look dynamic and explosive. The next week, they are checking the ball down 15 million times to the running back. Last week, they actually looked dynamic and explosive. They were making big plays. They got the run game on track. The biggest game we've seen from the running back, shucks, why can't I think of his name? But it was his biggest game, I would argue, of his career. Over 120 yards rushing. That's clearly the season high for him. Jaylen Warren, clearly a season high for him. I wouldn't be shocked if that's a career high for him. They were outstanding at Cincinnati offensively, scored a bunch of points. They had 2 turnovers there, though, and those were impactful. But they scored more than enough points to win that game. It was the defense that was a sieve. But you can't count on that offense to show up, because the week prior, you know, that offense didn't show up. The defense had to bail them out. And you know, in previous weeks, it's been this offense check down Charlie with Aaron Rodgers throwing it to the running backs 50 million times. And that's how the offense kind of flowed. We don't really know what the hell they're going to do. And with the Packers coming off of their most dominant pass rushing performance, not necessarily the most dominant defensive performance. They had some defensive gems early in the season in weeks 1 and 2 against Detroit and Washington, respectively. But Michael Parsons, I think, had 3 sacks or so in the game, and they really got after Jacoby Brissett, another aging veteran that is immobile in the pocket. That's what Aaron Rodgers is. I could see them getting after him, making life miserable for him. And so it's going to be interesting to see what this Steelers offense looks like and also what the Steelers defense looks like. And then, I could say the same thing for the Green Bay Packers. I really don't know from week to week what I'm getting. Their offense, it's hit or miss. It's not a dynamic group that scares you, but they have the ability to be, but they usually aren't most weeks. They barely got by Cincinnati. They barely got by Arizona last week. They do just enough, right, offensively. And the defense at one point looked dominant. They took a step back, gave up 40 to Dallas on a Sunday night. They go on the road, lose to Cleveland. No one saw that coming. Only scored 10 points. This is the roller coaster ride with this Green Bay Packers team. But we know they're fully capable. They're a dangerous team. They have everything that it takes to be one of the best in the conference, in the NFC. And so this is a game where you just try not to go into Pittsburgh, fall asleep, and look up in the fourth quarter and find yourself trailing by 6. Find a way to go in there, run the football with Josh Jacobs. The Steelers gave up a ton of yards to a Bengals team that couldn't run the football if we put them up against a bunch of third graders. And yet they had their best rushing performance of the season against Pittsburgh's defense last week. So maybe, just maybe, you can see the Packers run game kind of get on track here with Josh Jacobs and have some success there and really be able to churn out some yards, stay balanced, give you the chance to go play action fake, take some shots down the field against a very porous Steelers secondary that's aging and can be had, right? We saw that last week against Cincinnati's offense with Joe Flacco. So there are going to be some opportunities here for Green Bay. Something tells me that the Steelers lull them to sleep, get them to play their game, right? Keep it a low-scoring affair. It's going to be the antithesis of what we saw, what was that, week 4? Packers-Cowboys, where it's 40-40. This is going to feel more like a, 12-round championship fight with counter-punchers who don't want to throw punches, right? They're waiting to counter, and the other guy's waiting to counter. It's 2 defensive fighters, and it's a really boring fight, but someone's going to win. And I think it's going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers. I may be wrong about this. I'm really not 100% sure. Again, these two teams are sort of enigmas to me, more so the Steelers than the Packers. I think I know what the Packers are, but I don't trust them in this spot necessarily. This is one of those sleepy spots against a Steelers team that finds ways to win these types of games. Don't ask me how, but they do. Give me the Steelers in this game to win on some, 23-20, 23-19 type of nonsense. Mike Tomlin style. All right. So with that said, let's get to the skill game brought to you by Sleeper. All right. The skill game brought to you by Sleeper. That's more like it. I don't know what I did the first time. But so Sleeper is a fantasy sports real money gaming app that brings people together through sports and gaming. Sleeper has become the fastest organically growing fantasy platform in the world with over 6 million active users in 2023. I would assume that number has ballooned to at least 8 million over the last 2 years, with people like myself being new users that absolutely love this app. It is tremendous in every way. I am so in my basketball bag right now. The NBA started on Tuesday. I can't get enough of this app with the NBA. I am absolutely locked into the NBA. I'm going to win some big money this year with the NBA. I got a couple of big tickets out. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to show you them really quickly. We're not going to spend any time on that because we're going to do this game real quick. But this one, $10, I can win $2,100. This is for just 3-pointers being made in games. I got 8 guys: Doncic making 4, Kuminga making 2, Jeremy Grant making 2, Jalen Wells making 3, Kristaps Porzingis making 2, Trae Young making 3, Alvin Sengun making 2 and Jalen Brunson making 3. It's early in the season. You don't know what guys are going to make shots. A lot of guys are missing shots that normally make shots. So that one's going to be a tough one to get done, but I like my chances, right, with these 3-pointers. Next one, $10 can net me 1,200. And this one is all about points. You know, I'm a theme guy when it comes to these types of tickets that I put together. And so this one here is all about points. Sengun, 18.5. That's a special that they gave out. You know, he's a machine, is Sengun. Grady Dick, 10 points. Think he's going to be able to get that for me. Jaime Jaquez, 9 points. Think he's going to be able to do that. The rookie, Dylan Harper, in San Antonio, 12 points. Got off to a great start in his first game as a pro. I think he can follow that up with another solid performance. 12 points for him. Davion Mitchell, just need 3 rebounds. He's an active guard for the Heat. Expect him to be able to crash the boards against a Memphis Grizzlies team, my favorite team, that doesn't rebound the basketball very well. KCP, 9 points. He's going to be asked to shoot a lot of threes. I expect this to be a high-tempo game against the Heat. He should be able to get me 10 points. George, this is a young guy that has the green light to shoot the basketball, and I love that. I think he's got a time. Keontae George has a chance to get me the points that I need, 12, and I feel good about that. Same with Chris Middleton, another veteran with a green light that should be able to score the basketball. He's a professional scorer. He should be able to get me 15 points against the Dallas defense that got torched by the San Antonio Spurs in their first game of the season on Wednesday. So I love those picks. Then I got another one here, $10 to net me 100. This is the one that I'm like, hey, just get me a win, right? I'm running low on cash here. Get me a win. Put some money back in my bank so I can make some more picks here. All right. First quarter. I love first quarter picks. Jalen Wells, 2.5 points in the first quarter. I just need him to knock down a 3. We're going to ask him to shoot 3 or 4 of them in the first quarter. Just make 1. Victor Wembanyama, he was so good on Wednesday. I expect him to get off to a fast start, i.e. like a Giannis type where you just in the first quarter dominate. I'm hoping he can do that with 7 points in the first quarter against the Pellies. They don't play great defense. I think he can get to the cup and make shots at the rim. OG Anunoby, 4 first quarter points. I'm hoping he can get off to a fast start against Boston. They're going to need him. So hopefully he can get that done for me. Kristaps Porzingis, 2 rebounds. You're 7-10, right? Go get me 2 rebounds in the first quarter, please. And Amen Thompson was aggressive in that game on Tuesday night versus the defending champion in the OKC Thunder. He came out scoring. I think he's going to continue to do that. Give me 4 first quarter points for the win there. But let's do the thing that we talked about doing here, and that's this game on Sunday night. So we click on the NFL. And once again, if you don't have the Sleeper app, what are you waiting on? Go get it. You see what kind of stuff I'm over here doing. You see the kind of fun I'm having over here. Use my promo code LTN to get you 100% match on your first deposit up to $100. Don't wait. Go be great. Download the app. Use my promo code. Get you this money. And in the month of October for free, all you have to do is download the app, verify yourself, make sure Sleeper is available in your area, available in over 25 states. Once you do that, 20 free bucks. Deposit it into your account. You want to talk about the easy and most safe and fast withdrawals? This is what Sleeper brings to the table. You get the 20 bucks. I just showed you with $10, I got a chance to win over 2,000. Another one with $10 got a chance to win over $1,000. You see what this is. You don't need much to win much. Get it done. Let's get to Sunday Night Football. We scroll here to the game, Steelers, Packers, and let's see what we can get done here. So the hot picks, see if anything tickles my fancy. I don't love Jordan Love as a rusher. Josh Jacobs is a touchdown machine. So give me Josh Jacobs anytime touchdown. That just makes sense. I don't love Aaron Rodgers passing yards. DK Metcalf did not score last week. Give me DK Metcalf to score this week. Tucker Kraft. Come back to that. Pat Fryermuth. That's a juicy 3.39 multiplier for Pat Fryermuth. I don't know if I see him scoring and DK. Oh, what the hell? Need Pat Fryermuth to score in this game. see if there's anything else here that I like. Hey, is Christian Watson back? I see him here. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean a slam thing. You know who I like scoring here? Where's the receiver? Romeo Dubs. See if we can get him on a anytime touchdown. Every time the Packers are on this show, anytime they're on the skill game, Romeo Dubs seems to score. Let me get Romeo Dubs tonight for this one. I got a bunch of touchdowns here. Okay. I'm normally not a touchdown guy. I'm really not. And for the points that I said this game is going to be, that's a lot of touchdowns I got being scored. But somebody's got to score these touchdowns, right? You know, I'm a big receptions guy. So let's go there. See if there's anyone. You know what? Darnell Washington has been getting active in this offense here of late. He feels like a guy that's going to catch 3 footballs in this game. See what that numbers look like the last few weeks. 3, 3, and 3. Let me get rid of him. You know what my luck is? I always do that, and then that guy doesn't have that type of game. Is Christian Watson back? Because if Christian Watson is back, well, look, if he's not back, then they're gonna grant me some immunity here. If he is back, he's catching the football twice. That's crazy. Hey, let me get Christian Watson. If he's back, they're gonna throw him the football. Trust and believe. He's gonna get 2 catches. So don't know if he's back or not, but if he is, he'll get 2 catches. If he's not, they'll cancel that pick out for me and it won't penalize me. That's another beauty of the Sleeper app. Let's see if there's anyone else. Kenneth Gainwell let me down last week. Remember, I talked about check down city, this, that, and the third. They really didn't throw the running backs the football last week because they were having explosive, dynamic plays down the field. I think they go back to being more of that dink and dunk type of offense. Give me Kenneth Gainwell for 2.5 receptions this week. And last week, Jalen Warren. I'm going to stay away from Warren. He had a lot of receptions last week. I went with Gainwell. It didn't work out for me, but I'm going to stick with that one. And I think I'm just going to stop right there, right? I had a bunch of anytime touchdowns, Dubs, Jacobs, Metcalf, Freiermuth, all getting in the end zone. Watson for 2 catches, Gainwell for 3 catches. On a $10 bet would net me $622. And see if there's a promo. No promo here. So we're gonna rock with that one. Like where that sits. We'll see what that gets us. We're going to submit that one. And that's how easy it is to put yourself in a position to get money on the Sleeper app. Shout out for Sleeper for enhancing my sports watching experience. And you can have the same thing happen. Use my promo code LTN and get off the bench and get in the game with Sleeper. That is the skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
The skill game brought to you by Sleeper.
So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the skill game brought to you by Sleeper. I look forward to chopping it up with you post game of this Sunday night contest between the Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hopefully, I'll come to you a lot richer on this Sleeper app, and we'll talk about that, whether it's the basketball picks or it's the NFL picks, whatever that looks like. We're going to talk about it post game during the skill game on the overtime show of this Sunday night contest. I look forward to chopping it up with you then. Until then, I'm your man Louie T, signing off. You guys have a good one. Take care. Peace. LouieTeeNetwork.